Okay, there we are. We're recording. I like the shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
So, let's start with the beginning of one of the. And what was your goal as soon as you won one of the HOHs?
I was, I like the outcome now, but I really did want Brian to be a final nom. I thought that, personally, as HOH, I think Brian is targeting me. He's been very open about, like, when I was up against Jill, he was like, oh, I'm going to vote you out. And the vote against, um, Liam and Jesse. He was like, I want Jesse out. And he's been very open against my game. That's why when I was talking with Gizmo, I was like, I will nominate Liam, but as long as you nominate Brian. And that's what happened. But Brian pulled a good veto. He won the veto, but that kind of just put in our second put in motion. So I mean, technically, it's not what I wanted, but I still got something at the end of it. So I think that this was a successful HOH.
So, are you? Who do you want to see gone this week?
Liam. Just because,
Think the votes are there.
I don't know, honestly, and I don't care. Like, if it's personally, I want Liam out, but I don't give a fuck. They're both big threats, and one without the other would discourage the other person's game. As simple as that. I have a good relationship with Timmy L. So if Liam leaves, I could swoop right in there. I don't have that well of a relationship with Liam, but if Liam stays, it can't be that hard. I think him and Bryant and maybe Chips are working in some kind of a thing. And the fact of the matter is, I think that would be very open to working with me just because it's not something that would be like unexpected.
Understandable. So, do you feel there's flash this week for you being HOH? Like, you can't compete next week. Do you feel you can go on the block?
Only if Brian wins, I feel like. And, like I said before, I've been trying to cover patches up with Liam, be like, oh, hey, like it wasn't completely my idea to put you up, like, but like it was just a game move, blah, blah, blah. I'm good with that. Brian, on the other hand, probably knows he's on the block because of me. So I don't know where his head is at. But with the backlash that happened because of Timmy L's vote or Timmy L's nomination, I got like none of the blood on my hands because of it. They were targeting Timmy G and Gizmo, which I think is perfect for my game because I'm still using that social element. Like I was HOH when Timmy L. I made a decision to with Gizmo to renom Timmy L. And Timmy L. still took it out on Gizmo and Timmy G, not me.
Why do you think Timmy G was associated with it?
Because it's
Since he
because
wasn't in power this week.
because I don't make it as obvious that I'm working with other people. A lot of people see me as like a quote unquote wild card. They see me as someone who's kind of just like going through the game and working with people when I need to. But like my loyalties lie with at the moment they lie with Gizmo and Timmy G and Lily, and that's not going to change anything at the moment. But Timmy G and Gizmo are clearly showing everyone in the game that they are working together in some capacity. Just looking at like their first HOHs and the way that they've been voting openly, and the slip up that the slip up that Gizmo made in the veto chat just kind of confirmed it. And because what I was told, because I wasn't in the chat when the slip up happened, Gizmo told me that he was trying to send the information and what we were going to do to Alex, and he accidentally put it in the veto chat. He deleted it real quick, but Liam and Timmy have both told me that they saw what was said, hence knowing that Brian was going to be taken down and that Timmy was going to be put in the knob. Gizmo tried to clear his ass by telling Liam that we were putting up Timmy G, which I don't think was smart and on Gizmo's part, because obviously we weren't. Like the veto, we only have 10 minutes to decide between the veto being used and us putting up our renoms, who is going up. Like, it's really dumb for him to tell him that we were putting up Timmy G, because the fact of the matter is we weren't going to. Like, he should have just been open. Like, I get it. It puts a target on your back. But now they're painting him as a giant liar. And, like, it kind of makes me question how close I want to be with Gizmo. Because if you're just going to, like, accidentally drop shit like that and then blatantly lie about it, like, it doesn't look good for me. Especially if down the line it's more obvious that I'm working with them.
Understand. Who do you want to see this next when this next HOH is?
I think that my number one ally in this game is Lily. I don't know if I am her number one ally, but I feel that she's my number one ally. So obviously I want Lily to win, and I'm very scared. And obviously Timmy G winning would be a nice thing, because I know both of them would keep me safe, but I also know that Alex would keep me safe. And if Alex could pull an upset, then I would love that. But knowing Alex, he's going to do the same shit he's been talking. Oh, I'll be active. And then he'll play the HOH. He'll bomb the shit. He'll not talk to anyone unless he's nominated. And then he'll wait until votes to figure out how he's voting in the majority.
Do you think that he's doing that purposefully to try to get people to try to take him further in the game?
If he is, it's a dumb move, because it's just pissing me off even more. The fact that I saved him first week instead of keeping someone like Austin, who could have had my back, and making these claims that I'm gonna be more active, and then like the only activity that I see from him is like an hour or two before votes just to figure out where the majority is, pisses me off. Because as much as like I want to be the majority, like I also talk to people like during like before vetoes, after HOHs, like after nominations. Like I try and be social in this game, and for him to just like prance to the end is kind of pissing me off, because if he does get to the end, I won't vote for him at the moment.
Understandable. Did Olivia walking from this game have any impact on your game?
If my suspicions were correct and she was working with Timmy and Liam and Brian, then yes. But if she was being honest with me and saying that she wanted to go far in this game with me, then still, yeah, but in a completely different way. Like negatively, if she was going to be honest and she was working with me and she wanted to make it far, then yes, it negatively affects my game, because that's one less person. But if my suspicions were correct and she was working with Brian and Timmy and Liam and I guess Chips, even though he's doing the same shit as Alex, but if they were working together, then yeah, I would say like it's a positive, because it's one less number on their side.
Yeah. So do you think that Liam and Timmy L calling people out in the house chat, I think it was one of them, I forget which one, but talking in the house chat against Timmy G and Gizmo will like hinder their games, or like do you think it'll actually paint a target on Timmy G and Gizmo like they're intending to?
Like I said before, I don't give a fuck, because the target was not painted on me, and I talked to Liam about why I nommed him in the first place, and what the fuck, like why Gizmo slipped and shit. Like I'm covering my tracks. Like yeah, obviously, but I think that Timmy G and Gizmo already had a target painted on their back, and but the problem is we've had HOH for the past 2 weeks, so it didn't fucking matter.
Understandable. So you think it's just you, Timmy G, Gizmo, and Lily against the rest of the house?
I mean, I think we have Alex, but like I said before, he's not fucking doing anything. So, his vote is majority. Um, and yeah, but other than that, I do think that Chips, Liam, Timmy, and Brian, they're kind of on their own side, and then it's me, Timmy G, Gizmo, and Lily on the other, and then there's Alex sitting in the middle, and he'll only join a
What
side.
about Jay and what about Jay and Ruthie?
Jay and Ruthie are the same way, but at least Jay talks. Like I'll talk to Jay. Um, I haven't talked much game about to Jay or Ruthie, but I think that Ruthie leans more on the Brian side, and I think that Jay kind of just floats in the majority. And I don't blame Jay because at least Jay's being social, but Ruthie obviously is not a number for me at the moment, at least. So
So who are your worst two enemies in this house right now?
Brian and Brian. I don't think I have any other real enemies other than Brian. I think like if Ruthie, like me and Ruthie have talked not game, and if that's what kills me is not talking to Ruthie game wise, then so be it. But the only real enemy I feel I have in the house is Brian because he's the only person who's openly targeted me. Like with Liam, it's like when he nominated me, it's because we didn't talk much, and I'm covering my tracks now, so hopefully we'll be able to move on from this. But things change at rapid pace in this game, so I can't even like I can't even bet anything on it. So
Understandable. So I think that's all. I don't think I have many questions for this round. Do you have anything else you want to say, or anything you notice with happening that's happening in the house? People grouping up they may not have noticed before.
um first of all, love the VL. Tell them I love them. I will always say that. Um there was
I wanted
something.
to ask you one more thing. Do you plan on making a final two with anybody, and if so, at what point?
I think obviously like I don't it's like an unofficial final two, but I know like I put a lot of trust in Lily and I think I at least I hope Lily puts a lot of trust in me. If I did have to make a final two right now, it would probably be with Lily. I don't think that she has much loyalty. I don't think Gizmo and Timmy G have much loyalty to me and Lily. So I think at the if we do end up going to the final four, it would be a 2-on-2 thing. Um, but I'm also very open. I do agree with Lily, or I do agree with Liam and Timmy L when they say that, oh, let's wait for the majority. Like that's fucking shit. Like this is Big Brother. You should be voting how you want to. Like obviously, like there's convincing, and there's manipulating, convincing, and then there's voting in the majority. I don't like when people just vote because it's in the majority. I want people to like have a good reason why you're voting someone out. Like hypothetically, if I was voting this week, I'd vote Liam out because even though he did nominate me for not talking to him, he nominated me, and I was on the block for the final time because of him. I have no real beef with uh, Timmy L, and I think that without Liam in the game, Timmy L will kind of like just sink. Like I feel like Liam is that life jacket that's kind of doing all the behind the scenes pulling, whereas Timmy L is making the big moves outside. Like he's the outside shell of their alliance, and Liam is their kind of backbone. And without Liam, Timmy L won't have the support to really make those big moves, especially with Brian not talking much, Ruthie not talking much, Chips not talking much. And if we can get Alex on our side, then I think we should be set.
Understandable. Um, I don't. I don't know if I asked you last time we did this, but are you like, if there's a buyback and someone comes back out of the three that are evicted already, would you be willing to work with them?
You asked me this last time, and I'll say the same thing again. I did kind of. I don't know how. Austin feels about me because, obviously, like I told him he was safe, and obviously I didn't vote that way. I'm perfect with Jill. Like if Jill comes back, that would be dream come true. I have Jill final two, um, because I just trust Jill that much. I feel like Jill is a power player, and she knows where my head lies, and and I know where her head lies, and we just like perfect connection. Like we're like salt and pepper, all these freaking connections I can name. Um, and then like Jesse, we had a good connection, hashtag Sebesi. Um, but I would be willing to work with all three of them. The question is, how willing would they be?
Oh, well, I guess we'll figure it out if that happens. But I will tell the VO you love them. And is there anything else you'd like to say?
No,
Okay. Well, thank you for doing the DR, Seb.
no problem.
Stop